Most car owners believe their engines wear out from highway driving or hauling heavy loads, but the reality tells a different story. Engine experts reveal that more than 60% of engine wear actually occurs during the first few seconds after you turn the key. Those critical 30 seconds when your engine comes to life determine whether your car will serve you faithfully for 100,000 miles or push well beyond 500,000 miles. The difference lies in what happens during startup. While your engine sits overnight, oil settles into the oil pan, leaving metal components temporarily unprotected. When you fire up the engine, those parts must work harder until proper lubrication circulates throughout the system. This vulnerable window creates the perfect opportunity for damage if you make common startup mistakes. Understanding these critical errors can transform your car's longevity and save you from unexpected repair bills that often reach thousands of dollars. Here are the 11 most destructive startup habits that mechanics see destroying engines every day. Mistake 11. Immediate engine revving. After startup, the satisfying rumble of a fresh engine start tempts many drivers to immediately press the accelerator, but this impulse creates devastating consequences. Cold oil moves like thick honey through your engine's passages, taking precious time to reach critical components like pistons, valves, and bearings. When you rev the engine before oil circulation completes, these metal parts grind against each other with minimal protection. This metal-on-metal contact scars cylinder walls and creates permanent damage that accumulates over time. Professional mechanics recommend allowing your engine to idle peacefully for at least 30 seconds before applying throttle, especially during cold weather when oil viscosity increases significantly. Mistake 10. Ignoring dashboard warning lights. Dashboard warning lights serve as your car's health monitoring system, yet countless drivers start their engines without a glance at these crucial indicators. During normal startup, every warning light should illuminate briefly as the system performs its self-check routine. This momentary display confirms that all monitoring systems function properly. Skipping this visual inspection means missing critical warnings about low oil pressure, alternator problems, or cooling system failures. Driving with compromised oil pressure, for example, can completely seize your engine within just a few miles, resulting in repair costs that often exceed the car's value. Mistake 9. Starting with accessories. Running headlights, air conditioning, and sound systems create additional electrical demands that strain your charging system during startup. Your starter motor already draws massive amounts of electricity to crank the engine, and running accessories simultaneously forces your battery and alternator to work beyond their optimal capacity. This excessive electrical load gradually weakens your battery and accelerates alternator wear. While this habit doesn't directly damage your engine, electrical system failures lead to rough starts and misfires that increase internal engine wear over time. Smart drivers turn off all accessories before engaging the starter. Mistake 8. Holding the key too long in start position. Uncertainty about whether your engine actually started sometimes leads drivers to hold the ignition key in the start position longer than necessary. This seemingly minor error forces the starter motor to continue grinding against the flywheel after the engine fires, creating violent vibrations that stress engine mounts and internal bearings. Starter motor replacement costs hundreds of dollars, but the secondary damage to other components can multiply repair expenses significantly. The correct technique involves turning the key just until the engine catches, then releasing immediately. Push-button start systems handle this timing automatically, so resist the urge to hold the button down. Mistake 7. Pressing the gas pedal. During startup, older driving habits die hard, and many drivers still pump the gas pedal while starting their cars, remembering when carbureted engines required this technique. Modern fuel injection systems make this practice not only unnecessary, but actively harmful to your engine's health. Pressing the accelerator during startup floods the combustion chambers with excess fuel, creating an overly rich mixture that washes away the thin oil film protecting cylinder walls. This fuel contamination makes starting more difficult and accelerates internal wear. Modern engine computers calculate the precise fuel requirements for startup, making manual intervention counterproductive. Mistake 6. Frequent short trips with repeated cold starts. Urban driving patterns often involve multiple short trips throughout the day, each requiring a cold engine start. While convenient for daily errands, this driving style prevents your engine from reaching its optimal operating temperature, allowing moisture and unburned fuel to contaminate your oil system. These contaminants create sludge buildup that clogs oil passages and accelerates component wear. The exhaust system also suffers from constant moisture exposure, leading to premature rust and deterioration. Combining multiple errands into longer trips allows your engine to reach proper operating temperature and burn off these harmful accumulations. Mistake 5. Repeated cranking, when engine won't start. Mechanical problems occasionally prevent engines from starting normally, and frustrated drivers often respond by repeatedly cranking the starter. This instinctive reaction actually worsens the underlying problem by flooding the cylinders with unburned fuel that washes away protective oil films and fouls spark plugs. Continuous cranking also overheats the starter motor and rapidly drains battery power. Experienced mechanics follow a simple rule. If an engine doesn't start after 3 attempts, the problem requires diagnosis rather than persistence. Taking breaks between cranking attempts prevents additional damage and preserves your electrical system. Mistake 4. Starting with steering wheel. Turned power steering systems create their heaviest loads when the steering wheel reaches full lock in either direction. Starting your engine with the wheel fully turned forces the power steering pump to operate at maximum pressure precisely when your engine oil circulation remains incomplete. This excessive load strains the serpentine belt, accelerates power steering pump wear, and can damage hoses and seals throughout the system. The stress also affects engine performance during the critical startup phase when components need gentle treatment. Always straighten the steering wheel before starting, then turn once the engine stabilizes. Mistake 3. Starting with degraded engine oil. Oil condition directly impacts startup wear, yet many drivers push oil change intervals beyond manufacturer recommendations. Old, contaminated oil loses its ability to maintain protective films on metal surfaces, allowing pistons, valves, and bearings to make direct contact during startup. Degraded oil also carries abrasive particles that act like sandpaper inside your engine, creating accelerated wear patterns that dramatically shorten component life. Using incorrect oil viscosity compounds these problems by providing inadequate protection during cold starts. Following manufacturer-specified oil change intervals with the correct grade provides the most cost-effective engine protection available. Mistake 2. Starting manual transmissions in gear. Manual transmission drivers sometimes attempt to start their engines while the car remains in gear, creating dangerous and damaging situations. This practice can cause unexpected vehicle movement and puts enormous strain on the starter motor, clutch system, and engine mounts. The sudden shock loads from attempting to start in gear weaken clutch plates and transmission components, while potentially breaking engine mounts that cost hundreds of dollars to replace. Always depress the clutch pedal fully before starting a manual transmission vehicle, ensuring complete disconnection between the engine and drivetrain. Mistake 1. Starting with weak battery power. Battery condition affects far more than just electrical systems. Weak batteries force starter motors to work harder, creating slower, more labored cranking that prevents proper engine timing and fuel mixture control. These difficult starts produce incomplete combustion, raw fuel contamination in the exhaust system, and excessive wear on starter components. Fouled spark plugs, carbon buildup, and premature starter failure all result from repeatedly starting with insufficient battery power. Rather than viewing battery replacement as an isolated electrical issue, consider it essential engine protection that prevents cascading damage throughout multiple systems. These seemingly minor startup mistakes accumulate over thousands of starts, gradually destroying engines that should provide decades of reliable service. The solution doesn't require expensive modifications or complex procedures, just developing better habits during those critical first 30 seconds after startup. By treating your engine gently during its most vulnerable moments, you can dramatically extend its service life while avoiding costly repairs that often surprise unsuspecting car owners. The small investment in proper startup technique pays enormous dividends in reliability, performance, and long-term savings.